Upgrades.
Take on me. The Last of Us. Abby. Liv. Joel. Manny. Dina. Jesse. Ellie. They're back. Let's see what this is all about. Hey, what's going on out there, everybody? This is Samuel Leggett here, representing TeamJVS, here to give you guys a review. Believe it or not, this is a video game review. We were blessed with the opportunity to go and check out The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Thank you again to PlayStation and Naughty Dog for the opportunity of being able to get the game early and go and dissect it and give you guys a clear and concise review and thought process on what you're getting once you get this game. So I'm gonna kind of go through some levels of how this is different. But off rip, I mean, any of us that played it on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, I mean, you know, you can always go and trade the PlayStation 4 version on a PlayStation 5, but now this is the featured version for the PlayStation 5. So you got the performance mode and fidelity mode that allowed you to be able to get those clear, crisp, amazing shots, whether it is like water elements, whether it is amazing lighting. There were certain moments where even when I was playing the game, I was looking at Joel or looking at Ellie or looking at any character and looking at like the hairs on their head or on their chin, and you could smell, like you could see certain small details and nuances of how a person would kind of maneuver, or like even like say Ellie is kind of walking down, she's irritated, she might kind of like rub her eye and do this. Like it's a lot more noticeable, but even more so than that, it feels like every character is alive. Like when they are in pain or when they get shot or when you kind of see a small little pivot moment. Like the game mechanics with The Last of Us are already amazing, but it's a spectacle to watch and experience on the PlayStation 5. The other big thing about that to make it even more functional is what they added to the DualShock. So essentially they have full DualShock sense, that basically every single trigger, like if you pull the trigger on the gun or if you're slowly trying to look to the left, like it is very pressure sensitive. And also whenever things are happening, like if you're playing in snow or if you're running as fast as you can and you hear something going past, you can experience it through your actual controller as much as you're dealing with the graphical sensory output that you're getting with what you're seeing visually. So they're using full usage of the DualShock with the PlayStation 5, which is amazing for this one. The thing that captivated me was up front, they let you know that if you've already beat the game, you can go and retain everything you had back before. So you can go and use like a USB to be able to transfer your data from PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro over to your PlayStation 5. Or if you have, of course, online access to PlayStation Plus, you can be able to digitally go and basically import your data and go right back from where you were. And if you've already beat the game, no matter how far you've gone, you can go back and play it all over again, because they also have a story plus. So you can go and start the game all fresh and brand new with what you've already retained from previous. Now, I love that, but also you can do speed runs. You can do speed runs through any level. You can do recaps of what that actually means. The other thing that's very fascinating with this is that you have a lot of other things that I'm not talking about, and I'm going to keep it close to the chest. But one thing that's really cool, and I know any of you guys that play the original one, you know, it was really cool to be able to play the guitar, right? So one of the things, they did a fully functional version of that with different characters. So you can have different instruments, different characters. I'm not gonna spoil who some of those characters are. You've probably seen some of them with the trailers and the teasers. But you can take as much time, learn whatever song you want to, and reenact that in live form. Matter of fact, you can record it. You can make whatever you want to with it, which is really cool. Now, the two things that I'm about to talk about were very interesting to me. They have a thing called no return. With no return, essentially, it's kind of like survival. You kind of pick a character and you're placed into a specific setting with different circumstances. It may be you're in Jackson and there's, infection going on within Jackson and you have to figure out how to deal with it. But then there's certain modifiers that limit and hurt you as throughout how everything happens. So that's just a standard no return run. Then you can go and open up certain levels of like customization drive runs. You can do daily runs where you're competing on a global level. It is so addictive because the thing about it, each time you're kind of progressing through, you're seeing certain things you're unlocking new characters, certain themes are changing, and it makes it more fun because once you get through, like I didn't even go through the first game again. I actually went straight into the return because I hadn't played the game in a very long time, and I knew that I'll start honing my skills, my accuracies, my headshots, and my ability to be able to go and traverse through different stages as well as different weapons. And so I I went through it the hard way and gone through no return and survival, but it did make me a more refined character very quickly. And matter of fact, I became addicted to the point that I unlocked character after character, process after process. And in addition to that, I started making my certain customizations. The other thing with the customizations, you can do a lot of fun things with that. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but they do have a lot of commentary and extras and behind the scenes and some amazing art that if you're a Last of Us fan, not just a Last of Us 2 fan, but Last of Us 1 fan, I think you will really appreciate and value what they put into this. And matter of fact, if you play through the whole entire game, make sure you listen into the commentary. It is very special. I'll just say that. Last but not least, talking about commentary, great segue, the lost levels. So there are approximately 3 lost levels, and basically some of them have no dialogue, some of them don't have certain payouts on where it came from, because these were cut out. Some of them don't have finished or polished VFX or game mechanics. But if you want to kind of dive deep into why they took some of those specific scenes out, and also what was the purpose behind them to get more understanding of the characters, these are really special. And it adds little levels to each character in a very specific way that I appreciated. So some of that was really fun to actually go and unpack. But let's go ahead and kind of break down what were my thoughts of this. I gotta give you guys a gist of what you're gonna experience, but what did I get in value from it? I personally feel like The Last of Us Part 2 is one of the best game experiences you're ever gonna have. It is hard-hitting, it is emotional, but make no mistake, it is subjective in what you feel, because some people don't want to be pulverized on an emotional level, and then some people want a real true cinematic narrative, which that is the game in and of itself, even if you're playing through it with this remastered version. But I'm gonna go to the facts. The fact of the matter is revamped game mechanics, way more fluid narrations and cinematics. It looks astonishing. The game in and of itself, from a game mechanics alone, has some of the best game mechanics ever, but now it looks so much more visceral, especially when you're having like a lot of the shots that are in the dark. But it is astonishing to see what they did with the visual conversion from PS4 to PS5. Just functionally, it is better. So 10 there for me. When you're talking about enjoyability of what you get as far as the resources from, if you already have the game, should you go and get this again? I say get it. when you think about the commentary, when you think about behind the scenes, when you think about the levels, when you think about the no return, specifically the no return, I think that adds a high value to why you should go and do this, especially if you're going the route of the day of the 19th and you're just like, oh, well, should I go and upgrade $10? Do it. If you never played the original one and you wanted to go straight out $49.99, I think it's worth it. Now, the last bit of this is, of course, talking about how they handle storytelling. I've already given a full review on that. You can go and check out my review. I will link it here. I've done a spoiler discussion on it. I've done a breakdown of it. And I've also had like a full commentary on certain aspects of it. But I do think as far as what you get with certain details and extras in this, it's high value. The graphical change in physics mechanics and what they do with this, it is a high elevation. But the biggest thing is if you loved the second one or appreciated it or it hit you really hard, but you kind of like, do you want to try again? Especially after coming off of the HBO series and what it was able to accomplish and invoking certain thoughts and expectations of what is to come with that. I think it's a good refresher. I think that for the value of what you get one of the best games ever and just a plus. So that is my thought process on The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Highly recommend you go and check it out. I think it's going to be giving you the bang for your buck that you want. And thank you again for PlayStation for allowing us to be able to get this early, being able to go and break it down and give a clear, concise review on what we thought about it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell button. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more from this, we will be going and doing like gameplay and riffing on it with Twitch. And so I'll give you guys some commentary and thoughts on what I thought of it in real time. Me and my Bottles and Bricks cohort and host, Ronan Unchained, are going to go through the whole entire game, even after I've already gone through it the first time with this. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace, people. Filing out the top of the I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on my mind. Oh, Lord.